One of the most hardest time Vader had to face during his Sith career was after the destruction of the Death Star. Since he couldn't meet Emperor Palpatine's expectations, his position in Sidious's eyes was now completely compromised. The faith that his master had in Vader had dissipated. What's worse is that during that time, Vader was unable to prevent the destructions of Weapons Factory Alpha on Simon 1. In lieu of all of these failures, Palpatine now decided to consider Silo's plans to replace his apprentice with what became known as Silo's creations. Once the scientist Silo came into the mix, Vader was left completely in the open. This was to be his biggest test yet. Palpatine intentionally wanted to test his apprentice and his might and will in this so-called empire. One of his biggest ones would come when Palpatine sent Vader to the planet Shutoru. An insurgency had come upon the planet and it was endangering the Empire's plans for the mineral planet. It was basically teetering into civil war, since the ore barons that basically owned the planet had been reassured secretly by Silo and thought to be untouchable. I know it's very complicated and that's not why we are here to talk about. What we need to talk about though is Vader showing mercy. We covered Vader forgiving a couple of days ago, but now I'll show you that at this particular moment Vader was also merciful. During this war, Vader worked very closely with the twins, Morit and Aeolin, disciples of Silo who pretended to help Vader. However, secretly they were working to ambush Vader instead. Once their time came, they jumped at the chance, but Vader, well, he was always ready. He blocked them with his red blade, and now the twins let out the secret. Vader was foolish to believe them. They were mistaken though. Vader was just testing their character. If he wanted them dead, they would have been gone a long time ago. Both their character and plot had failed. All that was left was for all three of them to battle it out, and boy did the twins try. They were going hard at Vader while lava was bubbling down below. The bridge was narrow as well, and the twins knew it. So as a backup plan, Aeolin shot a rocket from her wrist, warning her brother to step back. The explosion cut the bridge in two, with Vader and the twins on each side. She relented, finally, that they had no chance of beating Vader, and she doesn't think they will ever have the chance of beating the Sith Lord. But her brother had something different in mind. Yes, she won't beat Vader. As he was slowly standing, he pushed his sister in the back as she fell down, yelling out his name. It was done. The field thins, said Morit, until we meet again. As he fled the scene, however, the screams were unbearable. Aeolin was burning alive down in the lava. Vader looked down at her with pity. He remembered those burns long ago, those feelings as he burned away on Mustafar, and now watching her burn the same way, even worse perhaps, she pleaded with Vader to save her. Still, after all he had suffered through and her screams for help, Vader turned around and started walking away. Yet Aeolin, burning alive, still pleaded to Vader with all of her might. Suddenly, Vader uses the Force and pulls her charred body out of the lava. He couldn't handle the screams anymore. To protect from the flames, Vader covered her with his cape. Her pain was unbearable, but Vader told her that it will soon pass. Now she needed to tell him everything. While in horrible pain, Aeolin told Vader everything about Silo and how he was working secretly with the ore barons. She gave Vader her memory circuit to prove that. Lastly, she thanked Darth Vader for ending this pain as Vader ignited his lightsaber and ended her suffering right then and there. He didn't say much, as was Vader like that. He turned around and proceeded, but showing mercy to Aeolin by not letting her die slowly in the lava and ending her pain quickly shows that his memories were still fresh on what he had suffered decades ago on Mustafar. And you know what's weird at this point? Did you notice something about Vader? That he did the exact thing that Obi-Wan did not. Vader was able to show mercy that Obi-Wan couldn't. The same way that he was burning back on Mustafar, Obi-Wan refused to actually help him and let him burn alive. So I don't know what hurts more, the fact that he thought the Jedi betrayed the Republic and then the Empire, or the fact that his closest friend, his brother, and everything just let him burn alive. I know they were enemies at that point, but I don't think Anakin went as far as to think that he would be so sadistic. At the very least, he deserved a lightsaber to the back or chest or something and then end his misery. By Obi-Wan letting him live after Padme's death, it just seemed like a cruel way to let Anakin play out the rest of his days as a Sith, as a miserable dude who let his love slip through his fingers, through death, his brother, his Jedi Order, everything that he had cherished back in the day. Today, Emperor Palpatine doesn't even give him the time of day. I mean, this is after A New Hope. You see here in the 2015 comics that Vader is supremely on his own. I mean, he doesn't have Palpatine at all. Palpatine is just using Silo the scientist or anybody else except for Vader. He is testing him. And I kind of like this issue really a lot because this is kind of the real Vader, the one we saw in Return of the Jedi at the end of it. This is his character, his inner light, Anakin. We need more moments like this in the comics because the comics show a very different side, some hidden aspects of not only Vader, but a lot of these characters that we do not actually get to see in the movies, in the TV series, the comics. That's what made the comics special and what makes them today, even though I think they've kind of lost the plot. But I really do believe that the comics will be back at some point. We need more moments like this where at times he is torn between hate and this little bit of light that has always had a spot somewhere inside his heart, inside Vader's heart. And it's oddly satisfying to see Darth Vader show the smallest amount of mercy for someone that really had no relation to him. He didn't even know her at all. But even if it meant her death, he still put an end to it quick out of mercy. He had some use for her still, but even though he got the memory stick from this person, he still could have left her there to die slowly from the burns, but he didn't. He actually killed her right then and there to put an end to her misery and her suffering. This is a very interesting aspect, as I said previously. First of all, never mess with Darth Vader. This is the first and foremost lesson that these minions and everybody else will learn from time to time, as we see. But the fact that you see sheds of light, just very small instances of light, is much appreciated in these comics.